doesn't matter how strong he is, he can't push that car because physics says his grip in the ground dictates how much force he can create. If he's slipping, he isn't doing anything, which is why we do jiu-jitsu. That's why we grapple, because if I knock someone off their feet, they haven't got the same connection into the ground. They have some, even if I'm in guard here, if I try and kick someone, my ability to kick someone is relative to how much friction's on my back. If I'm on a skateboard and I kick someone, I'm just going to roll away. And so that's why we put people on the floor. But if I'm off balance then, I'm still creating power if I'm trying to pass his guard and trying to put pressure on him. If I'm off balance, I can't push as effectively. But if I'm balanced, as we talked about earlier, I'm creating more power. The second part we then use to create power is physiology. In that, you imagine any lift that you do in the gym, it doesn't matter if it's a bench, squat, deadlift, chin up, whatever you want to call it. We start by pulling our shoulder blades back and down. If we've got a collapsed spine, we're nowhere near as powerful. Now, if I try and do if I load up something silly on a bench and my back is all curved out and bent, I'm not lifting anywhere near as much. But if my back is strong and aligned, I'm a lot more powerful. And so the first part of elements 4 then is I know what he wants. He wants to unbalance me or break my posture. And that means either curving my spine or rotating my core joints here. And that could be rotating my shoulder, for example. That's going to break my posture. Or rotating my hip, because that's also going to break my posture. So I want to reinforce those things. So the first drill then, so the complexity is, I'm just going to ignore him. I want to try and keep my balance as best as I can. The only way we're going to get better at balance here is by belligerently trying to not fall over and becoming sturdier and sturdier over time. And reinforcing my shoulders by turning my elbows in and having a U shape here with my fingers, not a C or an L, because then my shoulders can be collapsed. Aligning my spine, keeping my shoulder blades back and down, and that's not just an upright kind of traditional kind of posture. That can be anything. Imagine even I was doing a bent over row, I can be down here, but my shoulder blades are still back and down. Just make sure, again, if you're trying this or you're teaching this to someone, it's not human centipede. They're not kind of arched up here, their arms up. You'll see it. You'll see what I mean. So just draw that straight line from the top of your head down to your ass. So keeping it there. And your partner's just going to try and collapse your structure. If you have a partner that understands some submissions, then have them throw those submissions. Again, grow intensity. Don't have the person on the floor. They are the game. I am the player. They're trying to help me get better. So he's going to try and throw some stuff at me for guard. And I'm just going to try and keep my balance and posture. So you can then explore other things. I can put myself in triangles, or you can try and look for Kimuras, or any of those other things. You get that feedback. You'll find that your partner will say, that feels weird. And I'm not doing anything. I don't want to fight back. I don't want to break my own posture by trying to grab for him and all those other things. I just want to keep my elbows tucked in and back. If he pulls on my head, I hinge at my hips. I don't round out my back. I want to keep my back nice and strong. This forms the basis for I know what he wants. The way his guard works, he has to break posture and balance. So the first section of this is having good posture and balance.
Sure.
The side effect, the symbiotic relationship of this is that the person on the floor suddenly realizes that, especially if they've learned techniques in the past, they're not real. Everything has to come with a kazushi. And kazushing people that have no posture and balance doesn't count. The only way you're going to learn more effective kazushi, more effective ways of breaking posture and balance, is by having partners who have increasing levels of posture and balance. So, and this is one of those kind of weird drills that we can actually switch who the player is and who the game is. In that, once I've kind of got good at my posture and balance as the person on top, I can then allow him to try and explore how he's going to break my posture and balance, and that's going to make him better at playing guard, because he's going to learn how to use his legs to try and collapse me. And so all the things that you can learn, triangles, arm bars, Kimuras, Omoplatas, are suddenly going to become much more effective. For example, if he tries to go for an Omoplata on me with my arms rotated in, yeah, it doesn't work. He needs to rotate my shoulder, which at that point, he's now going to learn, right, if I want my technique to work, my Omoplata, he needs to now try and combination in unbalancing, balance breaks, and posture breaks. So he might knock me, for example, so I lose my balance. And then all of a sudden he can start hunting that Kimura. It's not just a case of he gets to throw a Kimura and Omoplata and the Omoplata works. He has to now look at, right, how am I going to collapse him? How am I going to unbalance him and break his posture to then set up those things that then they work. And so there's that as our first drill, as our basic complexity drill. Try and collapse their structures, try and bend their posture, try and unbalance them, increase that intensity over time. Again, don't be an asshole. Don't just throw everything at them and make this person on top feel shit. It won't make them any better. Like, it has to be, you're both learning that you both get something out of it. So it has to be that symbiotic relationship that's going to allow you to learn how to break Kazushi. So drill 2 here then is, now we have a base level of structure and balance and alignment. Add in the first part is we need to rebuild how we pass guard. That we talked about right at the beginning, this idea of objectivity. So there has to be a hold down element, unfortunately. And a lot of our passing hasn't featured that, so it's going to feel quite alien to try and add that in. You're going to feel quite vulnerable. And what's going to happen is you're going to unbalance yourself quite a lot. You're going to be trying to chase them down, and you're going to end up throwing your shoulders out of alignment, throwing your hips out of alignment, throwing your balance out of alignment of committing, and you're going to get rolled. So this new complexity is your partner's going to try and get up. Again, increase intensity of time. They are the game, I'm the player. Because I need to learn how to hold someone down without overcommitting. Because that'll be the first thing that happens, is that if I have connection on him, sorry, I have my posture balance, and all of a sudden he then starts to get up. As I chase forwards, at which point, as I'm chasing forwards, there's now a higher likelihood that he can come back underneath and sweep me. So you can then top yourself up, and then I get sent over. So I need to learn how to move forwards, hold him down, without overcommitting my balance. Otherwise, I'm just going to get swept all the time.